So folks, last time we had a look at what I would consider to be a beginner level tool set. Things that you should really own if you're thinking of getting into property maintenance in any way at all. So maybe you've just moved into your first rental house or you've just bought your first house. Just a few tools that I think you are going to need quite quickly. Today we're going to have a look at a more kind of keen DIY set of tools, so kind of an intermediate set of tools if you like, and then next time I'm going to unveil what's underneath this dirty old towel here, and this is what I would consider kind of my pro level set of tools, stuff that I wouldn't expect like a normal person to own, but if you are doing this sort of work professionally, man, the stuff that's hidden under this towel can get you out of all sorts of problems. Anyway, we're looking at intermediate level stuff today. Remember, this is just for property maintenance. We're not talking about woodworking or anything like that. So things like planes and spoke shaves, that ain't part of this kind of group of tools, even though they are very, very handy to own. So I'm going to start off, no particular order here. I'll probably go like biggest to smallest or something like that. But a set of verniers is really, really handy. I was debating putting these into the pro level, but honestly, I use these so often that I think even for a keen DIYer, it's very handy to have a set of verniers. I do own a digital set, but this Draper one, it's absolutely useless. Every time I look at it, the battery's flat. And if the battery's flat on a set of digital verniers, they are essentially useless. It's really fiddly to change the battery in this, and yeah, as such, this is going a journey. It doesn't warrant being in my toolkit at all. And honestly, if you can get yourself into a position where you can comfortably read a vernier scale just by glancing at it, trust me, that is a much better position to be in. So yeah, I'm going to include this as part of the intermediate toolkit, and I've been waiting to do this for so long. What absolute trash. And by the way, do make sure you've got all of the other tools that I talked about in the previous episode. This is like in addition to the basics, obviously. So the next thing, I would say a set of files. You're probably only going to need like one normal file on a relatively regular basis. So a normal metalworking file like this should do the job. But in the workshop, I do have an assortment of other files as well. I guess if you've got enough room in your toolbox to carry them all around with you, then fair enough. But these I use much more rarely than the one I just showed you. I would also suggest having some sort of workbox or toolbox chisel of some description. Obviously, this isn't exactly one of my best chisels. I do keep it sharp, but it's very, very handy to have one with you all the time. And then if I'm doing dedicated kind of joinery jobs, woodworking jobs, I do carry around a separate, very, very ultra sharp set of chisels. Obviously, keeping this in a toolbox with other tools, it doesn't stay sharp for very long, but it's handy to have. We did talk about screwdrivers last time. It's very handy to have a big Phillips screwdriver. This is mainly for those kind of cam type bolts that you get on flat pack furniture. So these sort of things, again, you know, a big Phillips screwdriver fits those really well. Not a posi drive for those, unfortunately. I would say a metalworking hacksaw is an absolute must. I've got a large one there, and I've also got, oh, hold on, it's not for metal. I've got a smaller one there with a very bent blade in it. And I've got this one as well that has a slightly coarser blade in it as well. So obviously, if you are going to be carrying hacksaws and things like that, a selection of spare blades is also handy to carry around as well. Let's kind of move those up there. Again, we talked about snips and wire cutters last time, but having a set of long nose pliers is very, very handy, as is a set of wire strippers and some just side cutters like these, like spring-loaded ones. These are really, really nice just for more intricate cabling jobs, or, you know, even as simple as cutting a piece of bell wire. Using something like that is much nicer than using like the cutters on a set of long nose pliers or something like that. So yeah, a nice little set of side cutters like that is very handy to have. Now, just to interject very quickly, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted that in my part 1 video, I didn't have any combination pliers at all. And quite a few of you asked about that and thought that it might be a wise thing to have in a beginner's tool set. And the reason reason I haven't included them is because I just very, very rarely use them. Across the thousands of property maintenance jobs I've done over the years, it's just not a tool I go to very often, and it's to the point that I had a pair in my drill box and I lent them to someone. I never got them back, and in all honesty, I just haven't missed them. But if you think a pair of combination pliers are going to be useful for you, by all means do include them in your tool set. But I do think one thing that I did miss out from the beginner's set that is worth mentioning is probably a multi-tool of some description. Because although this is a combination of not very good tools, it can get you out of a scrape. You know, if you're up a ladder or something like that, you've got like a not very good Phillips screwdriver, you've got a not very good flathead screwdriver, you've got a not very good pair of scissors, a not very good file, and a not very good knife is obviously on there as well. But the one thing this does quite well is that it does have combination pliers built into it. So if there is anything that I am going to use, and to be fair, this doesn't live in my toolbox, this lives in my pocket, but a multi-tool of some description is quite handy. It can get you out of a lot of awkward situations. Just bear in mind you can spend a lot of money on a good multi-tool. You do get what you pay for with these sort of things. This one wasn't particularly expensive. I'll try and find a link to it if it still exists. But I must confess, I have used the pliers on this multi-tool a few times when I've been up ladders and I just need to snip a wire or pull a cable through or whatever you would normally do with pliers. But yeah, I mean, the key thing is that there's no right and wrong to what should be in a toolkit. A toolkit will evolve over time and it will end up including the things that you use most often. So yeah, there is no wrong and right. You are correct, a pair of pliers is probably worth including, but from my experience, I use a multi-tool much more often than a set of combination pliers. Then another thing for demolition, general property maintenance and stuff like that, a pry bar of some description. This one I find really useful for all sorts of things, nail removal and lifting floorboards and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's quite compact, it fits in my toolbox, no problem. So a pry bar like that is very handy. Crowbar's handy as well, but a crowbar probably won't fit in your toolbox. What else have we got? Oh, talking of saws and things, plasterboard saw. Again, very, very handy for a whole array of jobs. It's got that like very small tip on it, so you can like potentially cut curves in plasterboard and stuff like that. You know, maybe you've put a hole in a wall and you want to cut out the frayed bit of the hole in the plasterboard. One of these is very handy for doing that sort of work. Needless to say, a pair of scissors is infinitely useful. If you're left-handed, make sure you've got left-handed scissors. Treat yourself to a proper pair of left-handed scissors. Because, yeah, lefties using right-handed scissors, don't even attempt it. And by the way, if you don't believe me, if you're right-handed, try out some left-handed scissors and see if you can cut anything. Next on my list, oh man, they're sticking to everything as well. Magnets. You can pick these up off Amazon or anywhere. They're just like your neodymium magnets. They're so strong. Very handy for finding screws in plasterboard or like nails in plasterboard. Very handy for all sorts of things. I've got another sneaky little trick for what you can use magnets for that I might tell you either today or in the next episode. Haven't quite decided yet. But yes, a set of neodymium magnets are very, very useful. Now, usual rules apply when it comes to working with electrics. Do not touch electrics if you don't know what you're doing. But providing you do know what you're doing, having just a little voltage detector pen like this to hand is a very handy thing to have in your toolbox. But don't rely on this. You also need to have a proper tester to make sure that mains voltages have been isolated and things like that. But just as a very quick kind of overview as to whether something's live or not, having one of these to hand is very useful. I also carry around a set of water pump pliers or water pump spanner, whatever you would call it, adjustable wrenchy thing. This is handy for so many things. I don't think I've ever used it for a water pump, but just because of the sheer range of kind of size of things that you can actually clamp up in one of these, it's a very handy problem solver to have in your toolkit. I would definitely advise having one of those. And then finally, I think having a steel rule in your toolbox is a very handy thing to have. Not only for measuring, But also for when you're doing cutting and stuff like that, it's just handy to have a ruler that you can follow with a blade. Now, all I would say is be very, very careful if you are doing this sort of work, because I've had more injuries from a blade jumping off a ruler and into my fingers than probably any other injury. So do be really, really careful if you are doing that. But at the same time, it's a very useful thing to have. So folks, there you go. I'm going to keep this one as brief as possible because I want to get on to the more professional range of tools. I think that's quite a good addition to your beginner set of tools that I talked about last time. If there's anything else that you would add that you would consider an absolute must for a keen DIYer, do please post it down in the comments below. And of course, we can have a chat about it over on my Discord as well. Please do join us all on the Discord server, because it is the ultimate place for talking about all these sort of things, and people are getting helped out on there with their various DIY and property maintenance problems on a daily basis. So thank you to everyone who's getting involved in that. It's an absolutely fantastic community. Anyway folks, for now I think we'll leave it at that. Don't forget to join me next time. We'll talk about the pro level tools. For now folks, as per usual, look after one another, be nice to each other. We shall see you next time. Tatty bye.